Today's May 27th, 2026, and this is Read Through the Bible.
Hi, everyone.
We're in Isaiah. We're going to be here the next 5 weeks or so.
It's a long book.
Yeah, settle in, but sort of enjoy it. I think just listen for the poetry here in Isaiah is beautiful. It matches many New Testament themes of judgment and salvation. And we saw that. We read the first 2 chapters yesterday, and Isaiah chapter 1 was filled with judgment, and yet there's the promise of forgiveness. In chapter 1, verse 18, come, let us reason together. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Chapter 2 saw some hope that revival is going to break out in Israel, and yet then there's judgment. Today we're going to read 3, 4, and 5, and 3 is going to be judgment. 4 is going to show some hope, and then 5 is going to be some judgment again. And the judgment's always coming upon the disobedient of God's people. Chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, the Lord God of hosts is taking away from Jerusalem and from Judah support and supply, all support of bread, all support of water, the mighty man and the soldier, the judge and the prophet, the diviner and the elder, the captain of 50, and the man of rank, the counselor and the skillful magician, and the expert in charms. And I will make boys their princes, and infants shall rule over them. And people will oppress one another. Everyone is fellow, and everyone is neighbor. The youth will be insolent to the elder, and the despised to the honorable. There's the curses coming upon Israel.
Oppression is coming, and God's support is going away.
Yep.
Verse 6. For a man will take hold of his brother in the house of his father, saying, you have a cloak, you shall be our leader. And this heap of ruins...
That qualifies them. If they have a cloak,
right.
They should be a leader. Yes.
Yeah. And this heap of ruins shall be under your rule. In that day he will speak out, saying, I will not be a healer. In my house there is neither bread nor cloak. You shall not make me leader of the people. For Jerusalem has stumbled, and Judah has fallen, because their speech and their deeds are against the Lord, defying his glorious presence.
Yeah, in terms of outlining chapter 3, there's lots of different ways to do it. This is like the Psalms. And what I've tried to do, particularly even in Isaiah, is take like maybe some key phrases which are unique. And this defying his glorious presence was sort of a key to me. Like I don't remember that throughout Isaiah. Yeah. And it just speaks about God in his glory is there, and yet Jerusalem and Judah just defied him. Okay, verse 9. For the look on their faces bears witness against them. They proclaim their sin like Sodom. They do not hide it. Woe to them, for they have brought evil on themselves. Tell the righteous that it shall be well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their deeds. Woe to the wicked, it shall be ill with them, for what his hands have dealt out shall be done to him. My people, infants are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, your guides mislead you, and they have swallowed up the course of your paths.
Verse 13, the Lord has taken his place to contend. He stands to judge peoples. The Lord will enter into judgment with the elders and the princes of his people. It is you who have devoured the vineyard. The spoil of the poor is in your houses. What do you mean by crushing my people? Grinding the face of the poor, declares the Lord of hosts.
The Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks, glancing wantonly with their eyes, mincing along as they go, tinkling with their feet. You know, we read this passage a few days ago in the family after dinner, and this phrase, tinkling with their feet, I remember that. Those kind of came out. Like, what does it mean?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Therefore, the Lord will strike with a scab the heads of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will lay bare their secret parts.
In that day, the Lord will take away the finery of the anklets, the headbands and the crescents. This is all their jewelry that they have. The pendants, the bracelets, and the scarves, the headdresses, the armlets, the sashes, the perfume boxes, and the amulets, the signet rings and nose rings, the festal robes, the mantles, the cloaks, and the handbags, the mirrors, the linen garments, the turbans, and the veils.
Instead of perfume, there will be rottenness. Instead of a belt, a rope. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. And instead of a rich robe, a skirt of sackcloth, and branding instead of beauty. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your mighty men in battle, and her gates shall lament and mourn. Empty she shall sit on the ground.
So I think that chapter is all judgment, all
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. And so what was your outline? You said about bad
I
leaders.
had blatant wickedness, haughty women, bad leaders.
There you go. So all that works, and you can do that. Some of the difficulty of that is, is that unique in chapter 3? And maybe, but this glorious presence is maybe unique as well. Maybe there's some other places of it, but super hard
I do
to
think
summarize
that
these. But the
all
bad
of
leaders is really key.
the bad leaders, but also it's unique about how it lists all of their jewelry and their
Yeah.
fashion and their wealth that they're going to lose.
Yeah, for sure. Did you include that in your summary?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. So.
Well, yeah, something like that. You just remember that their jewelry be taken away. Just anything like that. Just sort of a trigger that you think about Isaiah chapter 3 and the judgment coming against them. I always think, though, about the infants are going to rule over them, women are going to rule over them, and just it's the destruction of that, the bad leaders. Mm-hmm. Okay, chapter 4 is super short, only 6 verses, and here's hope. So we have hope about this branch arising. Okay, chapter 4, verse 1 just shows how bad is the desolation of all the men, probably all the men lost in war. And 7 women shall take hold of one man in that day, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name. Take away our reproach.
In that day the branch of the Lord shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruits of the land shall be the pride and honor of the survivors of Israel. And he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy, everyone who has been recorded for life in Jerusalem, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and cleansed the bloodstains of Jerusalem from its midst by a spirit of judgment and by a spirit of burning. Then the Lord will create over the whole site of Mount Zion and over her assemblies a cloud by day and smoke and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For over all the glory there will be a canopy, which sounds a lot like Exodus, when God would be with them and lead them with a cloud by day and fire by night. Verse 6, there will be a booth for shade by day from the heat, and for refuge and a shelter from the storm and rain.
Yeah, so we have the devastation in verse 1, just women just longing for a man. Take my name, like you don't even need a dowry, don't need anything. Just let me be called by your name, because probably their husbands have been killed in war. But then we have in verse 2, this branch of the Lord shall be beautiful and glorious.
So hope.
Yeah, hope for
in
sure.
This chapter.
And regarding this branch, chapter 11 is going to talk about a shoot from the stump of Jesse. The shoot and this branch. Zechariah speaks about a branch as well. In Zechariah 3, as I remember. Okay, here we go. Chapter 5. This is similar to the stories that Jesus used to tell a lot about this vineyard. Mm-hmm. And basically, here's a vineyard which was trampled. Let me sing for my beloved, my love song concerning his vineyard. My beloved had a vineyard on a very fertile hill. He dug it and cleared it of stones. He planted it with choice vines. He built a watchtower in the midst of it and hewed out a wine vat in it. And he looked for it to yield grapes, but it yielded wild grapes.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more was there to do for my vineyard that I have not done in it? When I looked for it to yield grapes, why did it yield wild grapes?
And now I tell you what I will do with my vineyard. I will remove its hedge, and it shall be devoured. I will break down its wall, and it shall be trampled down. I will make it a waste. It shall not be pruned or hoed, and briars and thorns shall grow up. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah are his pleasant planting. And he looked for justice, but behold, bloodshed. For righteousness, but behold, an outcry.
Woe to those who join house to house, who had field to field, until there is no more room, and you are made to dwell alone in the midst of the land. The Lord of hosts has sworn in my hearing, surely many houses shall be desolate, large and beautiful houses without inhabitant. For 10 acres of vineyard shall yield but 1 bath, and a homer of seed shall yield but an ephah.
Okay, here comes another woe, verse 11.
Lots of woes coming up
Yeah,
here.
I think there's 6 of them in here. Verse 11, woe to those who rise early in the morning, that they may run after strong drink, who tarry late into the evening as wine inflames them. They have lyre and harp, tambourine and flute and wine at their feasts, but they do not regard the deeds of the Lord or see the work of his hands.
Therefore my people go into exile for lack of knowledge. Their honored men go hungry, and their multitude is parched with thirst. Therefore Sheol has enlarged its appetite and opened its mouth beyond measure. And the nobility of Jerusalem and her multitude will go down, her revilers, and he who exults in her. Man is humbled, and each one is brought low. And the eyes of the haughty are brought low, but the Lord of hosts is exalted in justice. And the holy God shows himself holy in righteousness. Then shall the lambs graze as in their pasture, and nomads shall eat among the ruins of the rich.
Verse 18, another woe. Woe to those who draw iniquity with cords of falsehood, who draw sin as with cart ropes, who say, let him be quick, let him speed his work that we may see it. Let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw near, and let it come that we may know it. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and shrewd in their own sight. Woe to those who are heroes at drinking wine and valiant men in drinking strong drink, who acquit the guilty for a bribe and deprive the innocent of his right.
These woes are just showing how deep the judgment is upon this vineyard who was supposed to yield grapes, but it yielded sour wild grapes.
Which is a metaphor for Judah.
Yep. Therefore, as the tongue of fire devours the stubble, and as dry grass sinks down in the flame, so their root will be as rottenness, and their blossom go up like dust. For they have rejected the law of the Lord of hosts, and have despised the word of the Holy One of Israel. Therefore the anger of the Lord was kindled against his people, and he stretched out his hand against them and struck them. And the mountains quaked, and their corpses were as refuse in the midst of the streets. For all this his anger has not turned away, and his hand is stretched out still.
He will raise a signal for nations far away, and whistle for them from the ends of the earth. Like you whistle.
Yeah, yes.
But a little louder. And behold, quickly, speedily they come. None is weary, none stumbles, none slumbers or sleep. Not a waistband is loose, not a sandal strap is broken. Their arrows are sharp, all their bows bent, their horses' hooves seem like flint, and their wheels like the whirlwind. Their roaring is like a lion. Like young lions they roar, they growl and seize their prey, and they carry it off and none can rescue. They will growl over it on that day, like the growling of the sea. And if one looks to the land, behold, darkness and distress, and the light is darkened by its clouds.
Yeah, so I think about summarizing this chapter also. I think the vineyard is a key thing in this chapter.
Yeah.
Chapter 5, the vineyard.
Yeah.
My summary just says, God made a vineyard, but will destroy it. And that's the beginning metaphor. That the metaphor doesn't really carry on, but the whole destruction of Judah carries on. Did you have a vineyard at all in your summary?
I have the vineyard and 6 woes,
Okay.
and that they call evil good.
Yeah. Yeah, remembering those woes as well. That might be helpful as well.
Yeah.
Okay. We will see you tomorrow with one of the best stories in Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 6.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
bye-bye.
good. Okay, goodbye.